having a little bit of trouble with the getting equations from graphs. So we're going to look real quick at how to do that. So let's say that we have a position versus time graph right here. And our graph looks like this. So what I'd like to do is get the equation for this graph. Now we already said that the slope, which is usually an m, that's our slope, is equal to the velocity of the object. And this point here is the initial position. It's our intercept. And it's our initial position. X0 is the initial position. So what we want to do is write an equation for this line. Now we know that all straight lines are in the form of y equals mx plus b. Well, we're going to do that same thing, but we are only putting two values into our equation, the slope and the y-intercept. Everything else we're going to leave alone, but we have to do some interpretation. Now this graph, x values, position values, are my y-axis, and time are going to be the values on my x-axis. So this equation for this graph looks like x equals the slope m times the time axis plus our intercept. And again, we're still just going to replace these two pieces. Let's say for this graph then that our velocity is 2 meters per second and our intercept is 4 meters. Writing the equation for this would look like x equals 2 meters per second times time plus 4 meters. Let's look at one more example of that. One that may not look as nice as that one. Let's say we have this. And again, this is position and this is time. So here we're going to say that the value there is 10 meters, and we're going to say that the slope equals 4 meters per second, and that's going to be negative. So if we want the equation for this, we're going to say x equals 4 meters per second, and it's negative, times the time, plus 10 meters. That's all we're doing. So if we look at an example from that worksheet, what we're going to do is write out the equation for this line, which is x equals the slope times the time plus the initial position. So what we need to do is identify those things. Here, the initial position, x0, is -3. And if we look at our line, our slope is going to be the rise here and the run here. So our slope is going to be delta x over t. If we just look at the little triangle I just drew, we go from -3 to 0. So that's 3 meters over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 seconds. So our velocity is 0.5 meters per second. Now I'm going to take these two pieces and plug them in. We'll just write it out so we can see it. The slope is equal to 0.5 meters per second. So if we take these pieces and put it into the equation, we see that x is equal to the slope, 0.5 meters per second, times time, plus our intercept, -3 meters. And that's all we need to do on these.